Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Motorsports. You're joined by Mark and Reece, of course, reviewing the qualifying session in Mexico. And what a qualifying session it was. Ferrari 1-2.
Yes, certainly not what we were expecting in that session at all. We were not expecting to see the Ferraris being able to get so quick there. They are not taking new engines this race weekend, so we were expecting them to be a little bit slow down the straights. But boy, were we wrong. They have gone out and taken a lockout of the front row for the Mexico Grand Prix ahead of us tomorrow. It's going to be quite exciting. It's going to be all to play for, and I think it's going to be a very exciting race, that is for sure. To talk you through the top 10, though, Charles Leclerc puts himself on pole with a 1:17.166, a really fast lap time around this Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez circuit. Carlos Sainz then being able to match his teammate relatively closely with a 1:17.233. Verstappen then takes third with a 1:17.2. Talking throughout the rest of the starting grid for tomorrow then, Daniel Ricciardo having a phenomenal day in that AlphaTauri, getting ahead of Sergio Perez in the Red Bull. Sergio Perez then P5. Lewis Hamilton doing all right, not necessarily the pace that we would have expected him to have off the back of FP3, where they were looking relatively quick rather. Piastri then takes P7, Russell in P8, Bottas P9, and Zhou Guanyu rounding off the top 10. Mark, talk us through the bottom 10.
Yes, let me go through our bottom 10. Of course, we'll go through each session and review exactly how they ended up there. But Gasly will start in 11th, Hulkenberg 12th, Alonso in 13th, Alex Albon in 14th after a lap time deleted. Tsunoda in 15th. He didn't get a lap time registered, but he'll start actually at the back of the grid, of course, with an engine penalty. Ocon in 16th, Magnussen 17th, Lance Stroll in 18th, Norris in 19th after a yellow flag in Sector 1 from Alonso, and Sargent in 20th. So let's just also run through each session. So qualifying 1 began, it was normal pretty much. Reece had to do most of that. I was having to come back after just finishing watching the rugby there and came and watched the qualifying session. And we had Logan Sargent finish up at the back as per usual. But Norris didn't manage to get a proper banker lap in that session. As a result, Alonso had a big spin starting his lap right at the end of the session, and everybody who was going to go and try and do laps were infringed by that, of course, because yellow flag, you cannot speed through. So that ruined their laps, especially Lando Norris, who unfortunately then was kicked out in position 19.
Yes, unfortunate for Lando Norris, but he did get the opportunity earlier on in that first session to get a bunch of clean laps, and he messed up on his clean laps, and that is unfortunately why he was not able to get that banker lap in and dropped out in Q1. Disappointing for the McLaren of Lando Norris when his teammates all the way up in P7. It's going to be a bit of a difficult day for him tomorrow, fighting his way through the grid. It will provide at least a bit more of a spectacle for us, but I'm sure it's going to be a bit more of a difficult day for Norris tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly that. So Stroll in 18th, Magnussen 17th, and Ocon in 16th, the other ones to be eliminated from that session. We then moved, of course, into Q2, and there, those 5 drivers that were eliminated. Tsunoda didn't actually manage to put a proper time in, but it was some brilliant driving from Danny Rick and from Valtteri Bottas, who managed to get into the top 5 in Q2. Some great driving for the Alfa Romeo driver as well. Lewis Hamilton, though, managed to top the charts in Q2, and as a result, we thought he'd do something. Russell got into 3rd, Verstappen in 2nd, so it was looking like Mercedes and Red Bull were looking primed for Q3. Those other drivers that knocked out, unfortunately, Fernando Alonso really couldn't do much. Alex Albon, though, did manage to kick Zhou down into 11th. Albon finishing up, I think, in 8th position.
The last second, but then, he got his lap time deleted, and unfortunately, he dropped out of that session without a banker lap. Disappointing for him, but it is going to be a really, really exciting race tomorrow ahead of us.
Yeah, exactly. So Hulkenberg finished in 12th and Gasly in 11th. We then moved on into Q3. Pretty much a stock standard session. Every single driver went out at the beginning to go and put a proper lap in, except for Zhou Guanyu, who waited for all of them to make their way to the pits. Then he went and did his one lap. He knew that he knew at the end of the day that he wasn't really going to compete with the rest of them. So he went out with a clean circuit, as we said. Couldn't put a proper time in. He just beat Bottas his first time, but then, of course, Valtteri Bottas made his way out with the rest of the grid to go and finalise right at the end there. Interestingly enough, Ricciardo and Verstappen's times, they could not improve upon them, and so they had their times that was the same for the very first one. So, yeah, if we go through the grid there, Russell in 8th, Piastri 7th, Hamilton 6th. I mean, are we not surprised by Mercedes not being able to do well in that?
I am
Q3?
relatively surprised, but I think at least tomorrow they have the race pace in that car. So it's going to be relatively competitive. We've, of course, got those two Ferraris starting from pole position and in second place. But we've got a lot of fast cars behind them. We know Daniel Ricciardo is relatively quick on a set of mediums. He should be quite quick on race pace. We've got Verstappen. You can never discount him, of course. But he is in the thick of it a little bit at that race start. He's going to be quite cautious there. Maybe he'll lose a position or two, but then he'll have to fight that back. But I think it's all going to be to plate for into turn 1, where a lot of drivers are going to take that little bit extra of a risk to try and get the glory around this Mexico Grand Prix circuit.
So, Ferrari 1-2. Leclerc on pole, Sainz in second. Now, do you think they can finish there in the race? Who's your top 3? Who is your top 3?
Top 3 is still going to be Max Verstappen. I'm thinking maybe Lewis Hamilton makes his way through and gets onto the podium again, rectifying his last race weekend where he didn't get onto the podium because of his disqualification. Well, he got onto the podium, but then got that trophy taken away from him after the race due to this disqualification in the Circuit of the Americas track. But I think then for the top 3, I'm going to put Perez at least on the podium. So Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez.
Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez. Very, very interesting predictions there from Reece. I'm going to give Charles some benefit here. I think Ferrari won't step up his race twice in a row. Hopefully they'll bank.
We hope
they'll bank for Leclerc to do quite well in this race. So I'm going to say Verstappen still wins. I'm going to say Leclerc in second. I'm going to say Hamilton in third. I think Perez will drop out. I don't think Perez will do well enough. Even though it's his home Grand Prix, I think we've seen already that Verstappen and Hamilton will certainly motor their way through the grid. So that's my top 3. Again, just going to go through it. Verstappen, Leclerc, Hamilton. So let me know in the comments, guys. Let us know in the comments, rather. And be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We've got a very interesting race coming up for us. On Forever Motorsports, of course, you can catch it here for the Grand Prix tomorrow night.
Yes, for sure. We're certainly hoping you will join us for all of those sessions. As well as do be sure to check all of our static content on this channel. There's a lot of it going out throughout the week. As well as do be sure to subscribe if you're not subbed already. We are so close to 2,000 now. And do be sure to check out our channel partners, BITDEFENDER and BOYLESPORTS. BITDEFENDER for all of your cybersecurity needs. Do be sure to go and check out the global leader in cybersecurity, BITDEFENDER, in our channel description. As well as BOYLESPORTS for all of your betting needs. If you want to put your money where your mouth is, do be sure to go and check BOYLESPORTS, also linked down in the description of this video. But thank you very much for watching us here on Forever Motorsports. I've been Reece, joined by Mark alongside with me. We're very happy at the end of today. Interesting qualifying session, box for the win. What a day.
Yeah, indeed. So a fantastic qualifying session. As Reece said, he's